tell us what you think about council manager and or small municipality. We don't have to talk about just one, right? If we're down to two, let's talk about them as a pair. Or talk about them individually as you like.
Yeah, let's talk about them individually. I handed out something from the May 29th coaster. Asbury Park just hired a new manager. So fortunately, they had a deputy city manager who then sat in for the 4 or 5 months until they could hire the new one. But the new one has a very long administrative track record, being in Perth Amboy, City of Newark, City of Trenton as administrators. I guess my point there is that they did have someone to back up. I do get concerned when you don't have as interactive a council member as our mayor, to fill in or at least advise the person that's filling in during that time period. I'm worried about the council manager a little bit because I've been in that room and horse traded the professionals, and I'm worried about the political impacts of a manager not from the area, connected outside of our town, bringing in the people that they want, and that's been referenced tonight by some of the people in the audience. I think it's more of a political form for a small town like we have. I've dealt with managers. They do seem to be like college basketball players in NIL money. They seem to jump around and go wherever they're going to get the best deal. I think we need a solidified long-term person here. And also, as I've said before, the office was disheveled over the last 4 years. And, management systems take 3 or 4 years to put together. So I'm not as enamored with the mayor and council change as possibly some of my other colleagues.
All right, thank you. Go around the table this way.
Did you have anything to say about the small municipality while you were up speaking?
No, I
Who wants to take them separately?
Oh, we want to take it separately? Okay.
I actually would recommend changing to council manager. Not so much changing to council manager, but having that option. And I'll tell you why. I think it should be up to the voters. I don't think it should be up to the 5 of us. And the only way that the voters get to vote is if we recommend a change. And I think right now, if I had to vote right now, I would vote for council manager. And I'm basing that on the fact that, people have said to us, it is the people. Well, it is the people. You're right and wrong about that. It is the people that you put in place, but it is the form of government that dictates the amount of executive power one person can have. I don't feel comfortable making a decision to say, we stay with this government and not letting the people speak. So I would like to recommend that we would put forth the option to have you make your report and go towards council manager. So the people can vote.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm leaning towards council manager also, and I looked back through all the administrations that we had since the small municipality was in effect. They all seem to be dysfunctional. I'm going off now, like I had my whole thing written, and it's all out of shape now, but administrations had not functioned as a governing body for the town and perhaps had some self-interest, divided loyalties with each other, or they chose not to pursue because they didn't have the votes needed to pass legislation, so they chose just to let things go. I did list a lot of things that happened during the last administration, only because what happened was he exerted executive power, shut down communications, no transparency, and there was no continuity with the amount of VAs that would be hired. So as a result of some of these things that can happen under this form of government, it caused a lot of frustrations within the citizens here. The council did not receive information before council meetings in a timely fashion or had access to the VA. The VA was absent from council meetings, thus questions could not be answered. A volunteer VA had to work with the VA that was hired by the mayor, who wasn't able to do the job alone. Over 5 VAs hired. the lack of negotiation skills to settle 152 for over 2 years. We saw stonewalling when the budget information was not provided to council in a reasonable manner. The council then was not able to modify and approve. Thus, and they were also fined because they kept on going over and over and giving them the wrong information or not complete information. The removal of a councilman from the finance committee who had a financial background, wow, wasn't that a great thing to do? Incorrect method of disposition of church artifacts. The entertainment of giving the lot of 319 Lorraine to Habitat for Humanity. The improper disposition of bank accounts, the lack of reconciliation of such, no timely audit for 2023 or remediation from 2022. I mean, that's just a few things. And then we had people come up here, past council members, talking about, Tim Sexsmith said, I think we need a change of government. It was never pursued because he realized he wouldn't have the vote. And then the last administration, the council, and the mayor voted for the Charter Study Commission. And now they don't want to change it. It seems that the flavor is, like Tracy had said, it's the normal. This is normal, but it's no guarantee that this is going to happen again. Mayor and the council, there's no guarantee they're going to get voted for again. The mayor may not run again. We may have another mayor that acts with executive power and shuts down the government like we had last time. That's why I want mayor-council form. Council mayor form.
Thank you.
I do like your breakout, that was very concise, but I do want to point out that a former manager negotiated the 2-year DPW contract unsuccessfully.
I did write that. They didn't unsuccessfully, they didn't get it.
But that's someone who was a manager in another town.
Yeah, right.
So we could get someone like that who can't,
We could always have bad players.
well,
And you know what? I think if we have one bad player that controls everything, the possibility of having 5 bad players at one time, I think is smaller. Although we did see.
you just had 4.
No, you have the mayor. The mayor and 4
You just had
council.
4 bad players.
I meant 5.
Oh,
We
okay.
had 1, and then the council manager form has 5. You have 4 council people and the mayor. They all vote together.
Okay, but what I'm saying is the town experienced 4 bad players here.
Yeah.
You had the police chief.
No, we're not
you
talking
had-
about the police chief.
Okay,
That's
but
not.
So, TJ, I think she means people legislatively.
oh, legislatively. Okay.
Yes, did not have the police chief.
Okay.
That was a bad player though.
Yeah.
All right, so, I'm sorry, so,
What?
because what you first said, just again, if you could state your recommendation.
I recommend that we have a council manager form. But I think the people need to vote also. They're the ultimate decision makers.
Thank you. Ms. Greenberg.
Okay, so for people on Zoom who can't see me, this is Don Greenberg. So I have a statement because if I don't read it, I'll ramble. So first, let me just say it's been an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure to serve on this commission with Tracy, Linda, TJ, and Rafet. I value their knowledge, their hard work, their insightful questions, and differing points of view, all which has helped me come to my decision on what I think the right way to move forward is. The commission has interviewed current employees to get their view on how our government works. We have listened publicly to past and current mayors, council people, business administrators, members of the Brentbag Charter Study Commission, and most importantly, our residents. All of these points of view have helped to inform my decision. I've heard what didn't work in previous administration and what did. I have heard and have seen for myself how the current administration is a night and day transformation for the better from the previous administration, working as a town administration should, together with the council, without dysfunction, open and transparent, putting the residents first. Not perfect, of course, but blessedly normal in function. So that being said, the current administration will not be here forever. I can't help wondering, what if we get another administration that devolves into dysfunction? I believe it is my job as a commission member to evaluate the available options, in the forms of government available to the town that will present the least possible chance of that dysfunction happening again. The options available to our town, I believe the council manager form presents the best choice moving forward. It preserves our nonpartisan status, gives us a directly elected mayor and council, lets the legislators legislate, and a full-time professional town manager run the day-to-day operations of the town. Quoting from the Red Bank Charter Study Commission report, the International City-County Management Association council manager form of government, what it is, how it works, and how the benefits to your community, was written in the Public Administration Review. It claimed that the council manager form is arguably, and this is a quote, the most important innovation in American local government over the last century, and that as its virtues are regularly asserted in the professional and academic literatures on local government administration, which I think in English means they think it's one of the best forms of government you can have. In addition, since the town manager, and this has been said repeatedly, can be removed by a majority of 3 council members, or as Gary Engelstadt and John Weber like to say, we're going to hire somebody that can count to 3, right? We have a fail-safe that if a manager does not live up to expectations, if a manager does not live up to expectations, we have a fail-safe, right? That fail-safe, in my opinion, will encourage the town manager to execute the vision that the council as a whole has for the town. While I believe this is the right choice for our town, it's not my decision to make alone. Ultimately, the decision of what kind of government a town is to have belongs to all the residents of the town. If I and my fellow commissioners were to vote for no change, we 5 would be making the decision for the whole town, and that would not be right. The decision of how we are governed belongs to the entire town, and by voting to put the council manager option on the ballot for the residents to say yay or nay to, that is what I believe we should be doing. And that's it.
Thank you, Doug.
Mr. Chairman, I thought we were having a conversation. I do have something prepared.
Okay.
Whenever you.
Well, I was thrown off.
Here, don't forget, Larry.
Look,
So much too.
I too came with a prepared statement. Several of you have made most of my key points, so I'm going to save everyone in the room some time on that. But let me go straight to a couple of things. I felt very strongly going into this when I was first elected. There were 2 principles foremost in my mind. One, I thought no matter what happens, there should be something on the November ballot about the form of government. I think it would be very unfair for the 5 of us sitting here to say, oh, we're keeping small municipality, because as Don just very eloquently said, that kills the chance for change. That kills any conversation. That kills the opportunity of the voters to make a decision on their own. I don't think we have that right. So, that's over here. The other concept that I was kicking around, though, was, well, you know, the existing form of government is fixable. It's not so bad. We can apply these guardrails, as some of the people thought. And for those who followed the meeting, there was a lot of talk in this room about guardrails. The more I talked to people, though, the more information I did, both in my research and talking to people here, the less and less confident I was that guardrails could A, be even created and implemented, B, would be followed by the current administration. Again, that's no diss against the current administration, but governing bodies tend not to willingly give up power. They just don't. Even if they did, there's no guarantee that the next administration coming in would adhere to those guardrails. Even if that person did, there's someone else who could legally challenge those guardrails, right? And we have seen from the legal decisions that came down, the courts really aren't very into the idea of going in and dictating to the town how the rules should be read one way or the other. So I've got real problems with that part of it. I've got problems with the amount of power that is currently available to the mayor of Bradley Beach. I understand from a number of you who are supporters of the administration why you are opposed to a change in government. I too support and commend the current administration for a lot of things that they're doing. I think they're off to a great start. And yes, of course, we should give them the opportunity to keep moving forward. But this isn't about the present. And to answer a question from Brigitte, you know, if Bill Shook had won the mayor's race last November, would you still be recommending a change? Absolutely. My principle here is this is about the future of Bradley Beach. This isn't about the present. This isn't about the current mayor or the current council, who, all of whom, by the way, can choose to run for re-election. A recommendation of going to council manager, and if it's passed, it doesn't necessarily change anyone. The voters like the mayor, they can vote the mayor again. If the voters like the council members, they can vote all the council members again. If the mayor and the council members who come back like the BA enough and want to elevate the BA to the borough manager, great. And if not, then it goes in another direction. But really, to me, the future is somewhere beyond what we have now. So I'm recommending a change to the manager form. Thank you. You wanted to?
Yeah, I did. Our current situation in the borough was brought about by bad players and not the condition of the field. Our current form will work fine if the players have proper, unselfish intent to work as a team. Bad things can happen again in the borough manager form or in the current strong mayor form. It really comes down to the responsibility of the Bradley Beach voters to understand the need for elected officials to be proven, experienced, and educated, and most of all have strong intent to give us the improved community that we deserve. I'm in favor of maintaining the current form of government with ordinance adjustments. After the past 4 years, I do not believe the borough can handle any more administrative dishevelment at 701 Main Street, which I feel that sweeping change would bring. I would propose that we would change just a few things to start off with. First of all, the ordinance should require a business administrator full-time. It does not currently. Add educational requirements for degrees and a minimum standard for 4 years of administrative experience, and also create staggered terms. I don't think the current form with all 4 council people in the same year maintains continuity. So those would be the ones that I would start with, without doing a deep dive with anyone else. But that's my feeling. What we've been through has been really horrible. We've had, again, some bad players. We've also seen how a council manager with a lot of experience couldn't negotiate a DPW contract in 2 years. So the new mayor did it in 4 months. So I think we have a situation here. I appreciate all my colleagues. I love the way everyone dove into this, and we appreciate your counsel, Michael and Mark. You guys did a great job, and we'll leave it up to the voters then. But I'm happy to have my voice, and I appreciate the fact that the voters put me up here with my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, TJ.
So question for the attorneys now. So we're recommending by my count 4 to 1.
And that certainly seems
For
to be,
council manager.
if you want to make an informal motion to direct our office to draft a report consistent.
I do, but question before you do that. So the other questions that we then have to go through.
We could do that now if you like.
Right, so do we have to do that before we make the motion? What's the proper order here?
I think the form is the most significant thing, so I would certainly think that if you want to confirm where everyone stands by making a motion to direct your council to draft a report that's reflective of the
Okay, do
recommendation.
I then have a motion?
Well, hold on a sec. I just have a quick question. Does the report that you draft show the oppositional viewpoints as well?
My position.
If it doesn't, it should, is my point.
Well, my position on that would be, as your attorneys, our job is to reflect the majority viewpoint.
No.
So we would take the direction of the majority and draft it that way. If any commissioner does not agree with the final product that we have, I believe you would have the right to attach something.
Yeah, that's in the rules, right? So TJ
Okay.
essentially write his own
Correct.
decision just as a court,
Sure.
as they do in the court.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that gets in there somehow.
Yeah, certainly. And like I was trying to say earlier, this remains an iterative process, so if any commissioner may not be supportive of the direction today, but still wants to consider being a part of that majority report. We actually had that at Red Bank where it was a 4-1 vote on the form of government, but ultimately a 5-0 vote on the report. So
It could go the other way too once the report comes out, correct?
anything's possible.
Okay.
So we'll keep an open-ended iterative process.
Yeah, and Don, more to your point, as the Red Bank report did, your report will also reflect the kind of litany of pros and cons for the various forms of governments that were discussed, so that's.
And the vote here, if it's 4-1,
Correct.
that'll be.
Oh, quick question. On the document